I don't want to interrupt anybody finishing their main course, but with our instructions here, we're going to move along. I'm Don Stever, Chairman of the Board of the Writers Center, and welcome to our celebration of another great year at the Writers Center. As many of you know, this is our most important fundraising event, and we're looking to many more in the future. On behalf of our board, our Managing Director, Krista Madsen, and our Program Director, Jennifer Franklin, I wanted to take a moment as the Chair of the Board to express our gratitude that in the midst of so many options competing for your time and attention, you generously chose to spend tonight with us and support literary arts. We are especially thrilled to have among us tonight those who make our outreach programming possible, including our partners at Children's Village and the RSHM Life Center. And some of our youngest writers from the Life Center who will read their work to you later. And also you heard jazz during the cocktail hour, and that was from a talented jazz group from Bigelow High School. Many of our board members are here, many of our students and their instructors and our dedicated volunteers. Kathleen Masterson of the New York State Council of the Arts is here. Kathleen has championed the Writers Center for many years and has provided extremely valuable advice from time to time when we have sorely needed it. I would also like to acknowledge some of our year's Gala sponsors, including WOW Productions, Andrea Martone of Houlihan Lawrence Real Estate, Morgan Stanley. Lisa Santo is here from Morgan Stanley. Manhattanville MFA program, Ona Gifts, Castle Hotel and Spa, and Hudson River Healthcare. John and Ann Nolan is here from Hudson River Healthcare, and some of their Hudson River Healthcare people. We are midway through an ambitious 2-year capital campaign to obtain unencumbered ownership and restore and modernize our historic train station space, and thus we need your ongoing further support to enable the Writers Center to thrive in our space for the long term. And we're dedicating our live auction program this evening to raise money toward our mission to continue bringing essential free writing workshops and tutorials to the kids and teens of Children's Village and to the Life Center, which is very, very important to them and to us. I'd like to introduce, I don't know where Jeremy is, but introduce our first honoree of this evening. As you can read more fully in the program, Dr. Jeremy Coleman is an author, activist, and tireless advocate for youth. Under his leadership, the Children's Village, the nation's oldest and one of the largest children's residential treatment centers, has been transformed into a national model for community-embedded family support. We're proud to partner with Children's Village for our outreach program. So, Jeremy, could you come up and...
Thank you. It's indeed a pleasure to be here with you tonight. Where's Mary Linda? Mary, you stayed on me while I traveled, got me here. Thank you for managing all the details. It's an incredible honor. The Children's Village has had many connections with the Writers Center, mostly through our director, Sue Miggs, who is tireless and untiring when it comes to doing good work with kids. And of course, to be here also gives me the opportunity to thank Margot Stever, Michael Collins, Iris Bader, and Kathy Wang for the amazing work that you've done on our campus. But my closest connection to the center
We look around and see what's going on in our televisions, we watch our politics, and we wonder what's going on, and there's an example of what's going on in America today. That man's mission for what he does. I applaud you, sir, and we at the Writers' Center are delighted to be part of your life and for all that you do for these wonderful children. My name is Bill Bigelow. I have the great fortune to be an instructor at the Hudson Valley Writers' Center, a place that I love dearly. I teach a class called The Art of Dramatic Writing. It sounds much loftier than it really is in the end. But what I do is I teach people to write screenplays, television shows, plays. We even had a woman who did a one-woman play. that went into New York, did quite well. But my work has a tendency to be a little noisy. We get strident, we sometimes read our work in the class, and it can be, you know, a noisy endeavor to create good drama. I'm always a little jealous because Jennifer Franklin has a class right before me. It's a poetry class, and she teaches hushed poets. Things that are really elegant in a way, much different from what I do. Anyway, recently, a couple months ago actually, I came out of my class, I saw Jennifer, and she said, "Hi Bill." I said, "Hi Jennifer." She said, "You know, we're having our gala in a couple of months." And I said, "Oh yeah, I hear, that's great." And she said, "You know, we might like to have you help us out and, you know, speak and introduce some people." And I said, "Oh really?" I said, "What made you think of me to do that?" And she said, "Well, it's because," she searched for a word, "you know, Bill, you're very personable." And I said, "You mean loud?" So, which is what I mostly do, as I said. So I'm going to try not to be too loud tonight. Maybe a little later when we get into some business, so we all know what that is, I might ask you to be somewhat energetic and theatrical with me. The Writers Center outreach program goes back more than 20 years to when Margot Stever and a small group of Hudson Valley Writers Center volunteers created a literacy program for homeless kids at a White Plains homeless shelter. Our outreach program currently extends to Children's Village with their teens and at RSHM Life Center in Sleepy Hollow with 4th and 5th graders enrolled in after-school programming. We had 3 instructors from the center, Margot, Joan Potter, and Michael Collins. We're very proud of them, obviously, who serve small groups across genres in private tutorials at these different places, these 2 places. You may have noticed, and they've been mentioned over here, they are smiling, excited kids in the room tonight who are eager to share their work, which has been nurtured through the Writers Center. We're very proud of them. I'd like to have Michael Collins, a wonderful poet, someone who's close to the Writers Center and very involved, come up to introduce a few of these great kids.
So we have Allison, and Levy, and Jason, and Marlene.
The imagination is my mother. I say feed me, she serves me a banquet. I say teach me, she shows me the world around us. I say play with me, she plays soccer with me and it's fun. I say play music with me, we play music together with an imaginary band.
Come over here to the back of your brain, where you know I'm the queen, and that's a fact. Come over here to my big giant palace with beautiful diamonds and jewels. Come over here where there is a hot tub, a giant pool, and a jacuzzi. Look at the room with my pets, a unicorn, a Pomeranian, and a bunny. There is all the new tech, like the time machine and the shrink array. Oh, come with me. There is something special that can't be replaced, and it is a pink, yellow, red sky with a beautiful moon. It is unreplaceable.
Come with me to the moon and the stars. Come with me to meet God and Jesus. Come with me to a place no one knows about. Come with me to see a sunset. Come with me to see life and death. Come with me to this food world. Come with me to a planet full of infinite imagination where anything is possible. Come with me to the bottom of a volcano. It's so warm and you could hear the birds whistling. And the little bit of people are here. It's always a party there. And there's a lot of food. Like cake, chicken, cupcakes, and other sweets. And they are always warm because of the magma. That feels like a nice hot shower after a cold day.
My third eye can see unicorns. My third eye can see angels. My third eye can see God. My third eye can see kisses kissing people. My third eye can see my mom dancing with my dad. My third eye can see Michael talking Spanish. My third eye can see tacos. My third eye can see Takis eating people that I don't like. My third eye can see paintings. My third eye can see people eating ramen. My third eye can see puppies.
My third eye can see turtles walking. My third eye can see my old birds around me. My third eye can see me as a king. My third eye can see me with a puppy. My third eye can see a fish flying. My third eye can see a dolphin swimming alone. My third eye can see my homework. My third eye can see my favorite book. My third eye can see me riding a penguin.
My third eye can see unicorns flying up high. My third eye can see fairies flying up high and bragging that they went to the moon. Now my third eye can see colorful rainbows everywhere I go. Color here, color there, I'm walking everywhere, so colors everywhere. Oh, look at this, my third eye said. Look at this beautiful dragon. Oh, my third eye said, let's buy a dragon. We can fly everywhere together. Oh, look, I told my third eye, look at a world of candy. Let's go there together. Oh, this is the town of my dream. Oh, my third eye is amazing, but it can't describe me. Oh, my third eye is incomprehensible. Oh, my third eye tells me that I'm the queen, but it can also see Brianna is crying because she wishes she was the queen. Oh, how my third eye tells us facts. Oh, my third eye. I am lucky I have the best third eye. I am proud of my third eye.
My third eye can see more than a naked eye. My third eye can see the future. My third eye can see the dead. My third eye can see the anime Black Clover. My third eye can see bananas dancing. My third eye can see the new Dogman book. My third eye can see everything. My third eye can see life. My third eye can see dogs playing. My third eye can see my little brother playing.
I would like to write about my friends and them going on adventures, and even write about my friend's pet and how cute they are, even if I haven't seen them. What about talking dogs? The ones who are so funny. I might even think about writing how I like calling myself the queen, and I might want to write about magical animals like unicorns or rainbows.
I would like to write about my room because it's like a baby to me. It's always a mess and there's always things on the floor, like toys, just like a baby. When I say get hot, it stays cold because it doesn't listen. And when I say get cold, it stays hot. This is why my room is like a baby.
I would like to write about my unicorn friend. She is a really cool unicorn, and also she has neon glow in the dark colors. They are blue, purple, pink, and pink. Unicorns are really pretty. And also, when I want to be alone, I go to the sky with her. Also, my unicorn has friends in the sky. It is really pretty in the sky. In the unicorn place, I say welcome to the unicorn place. I say wear it. They wear unicorn onesies. I say eat. They eat unicorn food. I say drink. They drink unicorn drinks. I say get free unicorn food. They get free unicorn food. Free unicorn food!
Talk about a tough act to follow. So as the outreach coordinator, I was asked to give a brief overview of our programming. So I just want to begin with a brief thought experiment. For a second, try to think of something fundamental that you learned by yourself. I may have undersold how brief I'm supposed to be, so you'll maybe do the thought experiment on the way home. But for now, just trust me that most of the things we learn that are foundational, we learn by someone showing us, or by observing, by existing in a place between the teacher and the learner, however they're constituted. A space where we realize our capacity to learn, which is the foundation of learning to become our own teachers. You'll see these spaces on display any day you walk into the Life Center or into Children's Village, whether we're there or not. We're privileged to be welcome to do our part by adding our specialized understanding of developmental writing and creative expression, according to the outreach goals of the center, directly sharing our love of language, of art, of creative expression, imagination, and their embodiment specifically in writing. Before they orchestra me, it's just as important, we don't have one. It's just as important to recognize that we're making an investment here in poems and stories themselves that need teachers and audiences around their words for them to flow freely, take root, constellate, shape, or, your own mixed metaphor. We're asking you to support the talking bedrooms, the unicorns, the ability of the creative mind to let us journey through shrink-o-rays and time machines, to partake of the music performed by imaginary bands. So, that's all from me. I'll yield to Colonel Bill.
Well, you saw the smiles on the kids' faces, which were really magnetic, and you saw the smile on the instructor as well, and I know what that's like as an instructor. So that's why we're here, for these wonderful, beautiful children. After listening to them, that's it, I'm going to stop writing. They're too good. But we're here now for the business part that I mentioned briefly. None of this happens, as we all know, without a little money. We're not really business people here at the center. We do something else. We do this great outreach. But I got to ask you people to help us. Help us. It doesn't happen, obviously, just by air. We need some money. Everybody's looking so beautiful in their Gala finery, and everyone looks like they're doing quite well. I'm happy to see. But I'm going to ask someone to try and give me, you have the programs in the back, there are numbers. I want someone to start out by giving me a generous, kind gift so we can do our outreach at the center to these wonderful two organizations. I'm going to ask actually two somebodies to give me $5,000 each. A gift of $5,000 for these wonderful, beautiful children so we can continue to do this great work. Who over there wants to start giving me some money? Giving for these kids. It's not me, obviously. I need someone, look, wasn't it a lovely meal? It's such a nice crowd. Someone, please. There's no dessert without money. Someone needs to come forward. I know someone in the back wants to come forward with just a little $5,000. Listen, it's not a small amount of money, I know that, but $5,000 will get 50 children in these programs, one of the two programs, for an entire semester. Think about that. We just seen 4. We have, oh, yes, look at this, $5,000. Bravo! We have people coming by with tote bags. Oh, there we go. And another one. Another $5,000. So look, we have now 100 kids. Thank you. Wow, beautiful, beautiful. Anyone else want to unburden themselves, Rich people don't have a good name these days. I'm here to help. I'm here to help you. You know what I'm talking about, people. One more. Anybody else have $5,000? Forego a trip to the Cape, maybe. Anyone else? Anyone? I will be willing then. We've got a good start. We have 2 $5,000s. I'm willing to take $2,500 from someone. So I look at everyone in their finery. I know that's a lot. And look at this. We got $2,500. Thank you. Bravo. Bring the toast. Wow. Is that nice? Remember, it's the outreach for the kids. We're doing pretty well to start out here. And everyone looks eager. You don't have to be shy. You know, we can do this anonymously. Anyone want to raise one of the programs? $2,500. 25 kids for a semester. Yes, here's another one, 2,500. Beautiful. Anyone in the corner want to stop being rich? Anybody thinking about that? Look over there. I see someone. Don't have to be shy. 25. We're going once, going twice. Oh, there's another one. Bravo. Thank you. Thank you. 25, another 2,500. Moving right along. Thank you, sir. I see way in the distance people dying to give us $2,500. Can you hear me back there? I was wondering if this was working. Okay. We'll fall back to $1,000. $1,000. I know a lot of you people in here are just dying to give us $1,000 for these kids. The outreach. There's thank you. Oh, look at that. Doctor. Bravo, thank you. As if he doesn't already do enough. Beautiful. Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Do we have the totes coming around? Yes, there we go. Anyone else want to unburden themselves of $1,000? For a really beautiful cause. This goes right to these kids. Could you see the smiles? Here we go. Yay! Another one. Thank you. Very touching. How about we'll take 100. I know everyone in here has $100 in their pockets. Just anybody else want to come free of $100? The people are here we are. Yay! Here's Krista. Don't miss this. 100. Wow. Over. Stand up. Raise your hand.
$500.
We're going to 500? Are you giving 500?
We are.
Oh, I didn't see that. I apologize.
That's okay.
Another 500. Beautiful, beautiful. $500. Okay. We're changing our numbers. How about 250? Is this a 500? 500 here. Where's our tote bags? You're getting a free tote bag, by the way. It's not just that you're helping these kids. You got a tote bag. Another 500. Beautiful. Thank you. Wow. Wow. Anyone else? Way back in Siberia. Anyone? There's no dessert. We need more money. We can't pay for this. Anyone left with 500? Another 500. Thank you, sir. Wow. More kids. This is just, it's wonderful. Thank you for your generosity, all of you, really. Anyone left? $500. Anyone left? One more? Going once? Going twice? No? 500? All right, let's try the 100. Somebody has 100 left over. Here's 100. Look at Jennifer. Is she lovely? Thank you. Thank you. 100. Another 100. Who else? Who's got another 100? There's another one. Look at this. It's raining money for these children. Isn't that beautiful? Another 100. Anyone else? Anyone else? 100. Thank you. Here's lovely. Look, 2 more 100s. Woo! As you can tell, this is more than just about writing. This really touches everyone's hearts. As an instructor that does this, I know. And the kids, you saw the faces. Wasn't that beautiful? Anyone else? 100. 100. There in the back, another 100. Wow. Another 100. All right, let's line everybody up. Everyone's coming up. That's beautiful. Another 100. Anyone else? Another 100. Thank you. Beautiful. Another one. Here's another one. A tote bag is coming your way. Thank you. Keep your hand up. Oh, that's wonderful. And then the coin in the back. Krista, who's giving out tote bags? Christina, help. Run with the tote bag. Keep your hand up. Wow. Anyone else? Anyone else? Anyone else want to come free of $100? It really touches these hearts. These outreach programs are fantastic.
Hands up if you're donating 100.
Here's another 100. Beautiful, beautiful. It's more than the writing. The doctor will tell you. It's about the personal connection that we're able to make through these programs that are so very important. Anyone else? All right. Now we're going to do the last one. $25. And with your $25, you'll get a ticket to come and hear these children read at the end of the semester. So it's a double thing. It's a $25 and you get to come to the final end of the semester reading. $25. Anyone left with $25?
At the Writer's Center.
At the Writer's Center. Thank you, Michael. With Michael in attendance. $25. We're happy. One over here. Thank you, sir. A couple of $25. $25. We'll have $25. There's another one. Oh, okay. Be careful. I'm counting you. $25. Here's the $25 and I get you get a tote bag. I think. Give out those tote bags. Everybody, you can't have too many tote bags. I know that. Oh, here's another $25. Thank you so much. Anyone else? There's another 25. Oh my goodness, thank you. It's lovely. It's raining money in Westchester. Who knew? Go over there. Good, Christina. Thank you. Anyone else? You've been all very kind and generous. I thank you so much. That's good. We're going to bring up Don again. Thank you so much for your generous contributions. And to the children, thank you. Wow. Bravo.
All right, we're going to rapidly move. Sometime they're going to be serving dessert, I assume. We are honoring other people this evening, and my pleasure is to introduce Alan and Marion Brown. The Writers Center is honored to have Alan and Marion Brown here this evening, both commended for their years of service to the Writers Center. Alan and his wife are among our most loyal attendees at Writers Center readings and events. From attending these readings, Alan decided that the center needed a better sound system and made sure he donated one and he set it up. And we use it to this day. Alan subsequently agreed to join the board of directors and has been a very engaged and active board member throughout his terms and has been instrumental in recruiting new board members and in the formulation of policy. Now serves on the executive committee and is co-chair of our capital campaign. Marion Brown, his wife, an accomplished poet, is on the National Council of Grey Wolf Press and has served the Hudson Valley Writers Center's small press, Slappering Hall Press, as a member of the advisory committee for many years. We're very grateful to both of your service to the Writers Center. So please come up and say a few words.
Thank you, Don. I actually didn't realize I had that many responsibilities at the Writers Center. But I wanted to thank you and Margot for recognizing us tonight. And it was a total surprise. But we're both thrilled to be up here. Before I forget, I wanted to thank 3 people that work at the Writers Center, who, without their contribution, there wouldn't be any Writers Center. Krista Madsen, the managing director, Jennifer Franklin, the program director, and Christina Papadopoulos, the office administrator. And as some of you know, I'm a man of very few words, so I just wanted to tell a little story that will give you an idea of what the Writers Center means to me. I was at a conference in Washington, D.C. this week, and coming home on Saturday, I had a few things on my mind. Specifically, the first thing was, I'm not much of a public speaker, but I was worried about what I was going to say tonight. The second thing, which maybe was even a little more important was I was wondering if I was going to make the 6:16 home. So I took a look at my watch, and I was on the shuttle to Grand Central, and it was 6:14. So I assumed I was not going to make it. But just at that moment, I happened to look up over my right shoulder, and there was a poem by Arthur Z. And why was that important to me? First of all, even though I'm my wife's French reader, I didn't have much of an interest in poetry, but ever since I've been at the Writers Center, I've really gotten into it. And sometimes, rather than being dragged to the Writers Center for a poetry reading by Marion, I'll say, hey, let's go to the Writers Center. The second reason was, if it weren't for the Writers Center, I wouldn't have had the slightest idea who Arthur Z was. And I was just looking at the program, the fall program, which I think we had some copies out there, and who read here? Arthur Z read in October. Susan Choi read just 2 weeks ago. Margot read. Nick Flynn kicked off the fall season. These are great people. And if you followed, I've gotten to be a little bit of a poetry geek, so, and literature. If you've been following the National Book Awards, I think we have to really hand it to Jennifer, because not only did Arthur Z win the National Book Award in poetry this week, on Wednesday, Susan Choi won the National Book Award in fiction. And there was another, Eli Kaminsky, who was shortlisted for the Poetry Prize, read a couple of years ago, and I heard him too. So I think we have to really hand it to Jennifer for setting up a great program. And if you haven't been to a poetry reading or a fiction reading or taken a course at the Writers Center, you really need to do it. A couple of years ago, when Don invited me to be on the board, I hadn't the slightest idea of what it meant, what my responsibilities would be, or what you had to do. And, well, now I sure as heck know, because it's a big commitment, it's a lot of work. But you know why I decided to do it? Because it was the right thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Margot and Don, our directors, all of our paid and unpaid workers. It's a wonderful enterprise. I think you're all having a great time, and I know I am, so I'm not going to take too much of your time. I just wrote a few important points in Sharpie. So I don't want to forget a couple of things. I'm glad that Alan talked about the writers and who were recognized this week and who have been at the center. I wanted to think back to some of the people when I first started coming to the Writers Center and put some of those names into the air here tonight. Unfortunately, that was in the long ago time before smartphones, so I didn't basically have any records except up here. But I do remember that years and years ago, when he maybe had just his first book out, Ilya Kaminsky read, I learned about Marion Baruch, who subsequently also won a very big award, the Kingsley Tufts and other awards too, and is a writer, a poet I am in awe of even now. And then Kurt Brown, who I remember so fondly. I first heard him read, and then I think I took 2 workshops with him in the days before smartphones. And I remember he said that if you give a reading, you must read your work as if you really believe in it, because remember, someone has come to hear you and you owe it to them. That's one of the things I remember from Kurt. Also in that same workshop, a fellow student said to me, "How are you driving here?" And it turned out that I was not coming the right way, and so ever since then I've been taking the right route to the Writers Center. Which leads me to the final thing, which is that not only do we learn from poets, but we make friends, or poets and other writers, but we make friends. And that is such an important thing. And one of the friends I've made that I just want to acknowledge with you all tonight is Margot Taft-Stever, our founder. So thank you.
I'm Jennifer Franklin. I'm the program director. I want to thank everyone who's been up at the podium tonight. These have been the most moving speeches that I've heard at a gala, and I really want to thank the children for being here and reading their work. Another round of applause for all of the children. I want to thank the Life Center and Children's Village. I want to thank Marion and Alan, Krista and Don and Margot. Okay. Within these walls, Margot Taft-Stever needs no introduction. She has published 6 award-winning poetry collections, including 2 in 2019, Cracked Piano from Cabin Carry Press and Ghost Moose from Cattywampus Press. Her poems, essays, and reviews have appeared widely in many of the best literary journals in the country. She is, as you've heard many times tonight, the founder of the Hudson Valley Writers Center. She's the founding and current co-editor of Slappering Hall Press, and she is the original architect of our outreach program and one of its most hardworking teachers even now. For the past 7 years, I have witnessed with joy and admiration as she has written and tirelessly edited most of the poems in her 2 most recent collections. Whether Margot's subject is her great-grandfather, the greatest student Yale had known, hospitalized in a sanitarium for a condition he may or may not have had, and treated with medication that we now know is poison, a young girl trying to understand herself, a dying mother, El Salvador in the 80s, climate change, endangered animals. Her language is as precise and unusual as that of Sylvia Plath, and her clarity and call to action is as powerful as that of her mentor, Denise Levertov. There are many things I could say about Margot's stunning work, but I will focus on 2. The first is Margot's great empathy for all sentient beings and for the environment. Her deep understanding and compassion for even the most vulnerable, especially for the most vulnerable among us, is the first thing that drew me to her work. The second is Margot's unique and musical cadence. She has a meticulous ear for language and line breaks, a hallmark of many of our greatest poets. Please help me welcome our founder, wonderful poet, co-editor, and my friend, Margot Taft-Stever.
Thank you, Jennifer, for that amazingly beautiful introduction. And also, I wanted to thank Jennifer and Krista for the incredible work that they do for the Writers Center. Also, Christina Thank you so much. And I said I'll only go over my time limit if I have a heart attack, so. Over the years, many have asked me why I founded a Writers' Center. My first reason for starting this center came out of a yearning for a literary community. My understanding of the development of a writers' community evolved from two different time periods when I lived in DC in the early 70s and early 80s. In my first years there, it appeared that not much was going on related to a writers' center. But in the second time that I lived there, by 1979, the Writers' Center had opened in a defunct amusement park, and WordWorks Press was founded. These organizations and others served as a catalyst, and a vibrant writers' community had evolved, which included people who were interested in each other's work, readings, workshops, and literary magazines. When we moved to Sleepy Hollow in 1982, it seemed to me that once again I was living in a place devoid of a writers' community, and I wanted to help create one. A second compelling reason for the development of a writers' center comes out of the sociological and political crossroads that we face. When we must act to safeguard our democracy and shield it from tyranny, and also protect our environment and whatever species left that we can preserve, lest we lose the fragile democracy, including freedom of the press that our founding fathers fought so hard to establish, lest some could share the same fate as the Turkish novelist and journalist Ahmet Altan and his brother Mehmet. In 2016, they were jailed for life by Turkish President Erdogan because a violent aborted coup occurred the day after they took part in a radio show. Erdogan blamed both of them, and the court sentenced them for life. After 3 years, Altan was inexplicably given a conditional release on November 4th of this year. He has decried the thousands of innocent people still languishing in prisons, Turkish prisons. He knows that he could be jailed again at any time. A writers' center is important for another reason. We have learned that in the last 50 years, 1 in 4 birds have already disappeared. And if we do nothing, we are set to lose 50% of all the species of plants and animals on our planet. If nothing is done, children born today are likely to live in a world at least 4 degrees hotter than in pre-industrial times, with large areas that currently support millions of humans uninhabitable. Our children and grandchildren will bear the greatest brunt of climate change. The best metaphor that I can find for our current state emerges from the story recently reported about a Mexican train brakeman, Jesus Garcia, who on November 8, 1907, saved hundreds of lives after he realized the powder and dynamite his train carried to supply the Polari mine had caught fire. He drove the train in reverse away from the town of Nacazari at full speed. Although he himself died in a conflagration, he saved the town. We are the conductor of the train, and our descendants are living in the town. Do we allow the train to blow up the town, or do we drive the train away? We are at that crossroad. As Naomi Booth said in her essay, Horror Planet, that I might harm my child by my own hand, that I've already done so, sealing her into a dying world, a world that I helped poison. These mounting and unrelenting crises must be addressed through writing, not absurd or catchy tweets, but reasoned thought and expression. Surely the Hudson Valley Writers' Center, brimming with great mentors and teachers, is the perfect place to hone these critical skills. We need the Writers' Center to assist us in addressing this situation through writing to create a new world out of a failing order, and to create beauty to help sustain us. Jennifer asked me to read a poem, so I'm reading a poem that's a vision of the future that might occur if we just allow things to be going on the way they are. And this poem is titled, End of Horses. I write to you from the end of the time zone. You must realize that nothing survived after the horses were slaughtered. We sleep below the hollow, burned out stars. We look into dust bowls, searching for horses. When you walk in the country, you will be shocked to meet substantial masses on the road. We do not know whom to blame or where the horses were driven, who slaughtered them, or for what purpose. Had the horses slept under the linden trees? The generals and engineers pucker and snore on the veranda. Thank you.
The heart and the soul of the Writers Center. Beautiful, thank you. We're going to have Krista Madsen, our managing director, come up, and we're going to have some pictures and awards for our honorees. Krista, where are you? I don't know. Krista. We'll find her. Krista. We're handing out photos. Awards, and we're taking photos. The photos come later. Come. The awards. That's you. Krista Madsen.
Can I get all the honorees back up? We have some prizes. We're missing Margot and the other Brown. There you are. Okay. So we have had all our politicians proclaiming you. One of them is here in person, so I'd like to call up Tom Avenanti. Would like to say a few words, and I have some awards.
Good evening. I'm on a rare occasion speechless. It's very hard to follow what we heard tonight. There is a hunger among humankind for a community. We want to be with people who enhance us, who give us the ability to do what we do better. And as I look around, I feel a room full of powerful people, thoughtful people with a lot of imagination. And that's what a Writers Center is all about. Somebody wrote a book that says it takes a village. I say it takes a community. Same thing. We need to enhance each other, and we need to encourage each other. And the purpose of that is to make our world a better place. As one of your honorees just said, this is a time when we seem to be under attack for everything that we've always cherished. We always thought, and I doubt there's anybody in this room who can contest this, that intelligence, understanding, thoughtfulness, progress was what we were all about. We always thought that this country was built on those who had studied and had worked hard to achieve understanding. And yet those are the people who are most under attack. And frankly, that's what makes a democracy. And the attack of that leads us away from democracy and destroys democracy. I can only give this kind of a talk in a place like this, because elsewhere nobody would understand it. But in this room, you all understand it, and I'm just kind of echoing what our honoree said this evening. You know, what is a writer? We were sitting at the table joking. Somebody said, well, I'm a prolific writer. I've been texting all day. Is that writing? You know, I'm concerned that outside of here, we are in a time where, unless we have more writing centers, we are going to find that as you say, the art and craft of writing is really a lost art. We're finding that people are afraid to put down their thoughts or incapable of doing that. And that is really a sad state. I was talking with somebody else in the room who was saying, I'm going to school. What's wrong with just going to school for the sake of going to school? I remember when I went to school, I wasn't worried about what I was going to do later. I was going to become a lawyer. I was going to get there somehow. But I was going to enjoy going to school, going to classes. So I wasn't so great at writing that report, but it was still nice to do, to collect your thoughts, to put them all together, to have some imagination, and to express them so somebody else could understand them, and give my impression of the world. Why have we lost that? So I want to thank you for giving me the chance to join you this evening. I want to applaud all of you for coming here this evening, for understanding the importance of giving people a chance and enhancing their abilities to put together what they're feeling and to express it in writing so that other people can understand it. And to your honorees, I'm pleased to bring the congratulations and the thank you from the New York State Assembly. And to all of you, thank you very much for all that you're doing for this great organization.
Thank you. Tom is our district assemblyman, and among the other proclamations are a couple people who couldn't join us tonight. We have something from Andrea Stewart Cousins, our senator, and we have our Congresswoman Nita Lowey, and they're all proclaiming all of our honorees, so I'd like to just give them in bundles and not read everyone. We also have these amazing monumental architecture here, which is actually repurposed railroad ties made into bookends, because we're in the train station and we're in our capital campaign and we're pretty tight with our train station. We also like books, so also good murder weapon.
Okay, few housekeeping things here, people. Check on your items outside to make sure you haven't been outbid. Before you go, make sure to check our flash sale area. Items that weren't bid on will be drastically reduced. Make sure also that you visit the front desk, please, to pay for any purchases, donations, etc. And don't forget to leave with your loot. We're so grateful that you all joined us tonight. Thank you again for your great generosity and for everyone who helped make this event possible. In closing, I'd like to recognize some of the incredible people who make the Hudson Valley Writers Center the special place that it is. If there are any current board members, past board members, would you please stand so we can acknowledge you? Board members, please, current or past. Any instructors who might be with us tonight again, please stand. Anyone who's an instructor? Any staff members from the center? Any staff members, the people who have been helping tonight? Brilliant staff members. And finally, I'd like to acknowledge all the students who are here tonight. You are quite simply the lifeblood of the Hudson Valley Writers Center. We simply could not exist without your brave and valuable participation. Please stand so we can give our appreciation to all the students that are here tonight, please. Thank you all. Good night. Drive safely.